What is up, YouTube? It's a boy 321 champion coming at ya. We George Pickens goodbye. Let's check it out. Wow. George Pickens' departure from Pittsburgh. This is something before the draft that I did not necessarily predict. In my first prediction video for the draft, I thought we would get Shador, and I thought we would definitely keep George Pickens. I was wrong about that. Was I surprised to see this trade? No, I was not. Even though around before the draft, I predicted he would stay, this does not surprise me on May 8th, or it didn't surprise me on May 7th either, and it happened May 7th. The George Pickens trade rumors, they've been circulating for weeks. I remember before the draft, a viral post about him unfollowing the team was circulating. Even after the draft, rumors about the trade were happening. My thoughts on the trade, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think we were going to pay George Pickens at the end of the year anyways. And some may say, hey, we should have kept him for at least this year. Maybe we could have got rid of him before the deadline or at the deadline. Oh, we would have got a third round comp regardless if he left. Basically, I think we wanted the pick for this year instead of 2027. The comp, it would have been for 2027. Getting a pick now, it bars any potential injuries. It bars any potential anything, really, you know? Maybe he has a huge fall off. That would be big for Pitt. That is not something new when Pittsburgh trades a wide receiver. A fall off usually always happens. Will this happen with George Pickens? I do not think it will. I think CD and George Pickens, that's a great duo. That allows for some of the attention to get off CD's back maybe. And if it doesn't, then that just allows George Pickens to eat. So I think it was a good trade for Cowboys. Probably a better trade for Cowboys. But that is just from all we know. I think there's definitely been something happening behind the scenes. This just doesn't happen for no reason, you know? Evidently, I believe some big shit was happening behind the scenes. We wanted to move on from George Pickens. I will also say this. George Pickens, great player, but definitely a distraction at points. This man would throw temper tantrums. He would be a diva. I think it's good to leave that behind. With that being said, George Pickens, he was one of my favorite Steelers on this current team, so it was sort of a love-hate relationship, you know? And when I say hate in the love-hate, take that very lightly, because I didn't hate George Pickens, but at certain situations, you gotta just man the fuck up. Like, you're crying on the sidelines. I don't know, bro. He was never really in the best position to succeed, I guess, in a sense also. He never really had the best quarterback, but he had a great connection with Russell Wilson. He ate with Russell Wilson, but it is what it is. Let's watch this video. This is goodbye. This is George Pickens' goodbye. Let's see what we get. This is the infamous draft moment where he got compared to Young Boy. He was stanced up.
Born in New Zealand in 64, a hot-headed actor named Russell Crowe. He loves to act, but he loves one thing more: fighting round the world. He fights his directors and he fights his fans. It's a problem no one understands. If there's two things he loves, it's fighting and fighting round the world.
Oh shit, that's his new teammate.
Making movies, making music, and fighting round.
See, bro, this is the shit I'm not gonna miss, bro. He was high-key a bitch at certain points, bro. Like,
The world. Russell Crowe.
Steeler wide receiver diva cycle continues without fail.
Yeah.
I figured George Pickens had about 3 or 4 years before he ran himself out of town. Predictions were right. He's off to be a Cowboy. Told to go away with a day 3 pick for a 3rd and a 5th next year. Pittsburgh got less of a return for him than Chase Claypool.
Okay, to speak on this topic, yeah, we got less than Chase Claypool. You know why that is? It's because the Bears are the Bears. No other team was going to give us that good of a trade for Chase Claypool other than the Bears. The Bears are the Bears. What do we expect, guys? Let's be so dead ass.
Oh, what a frustrating player. His talent is unbelievable. There's no question about that. He'd be good for some insane catches.
For real. He's a super talented player, no doubt. No doubt about it. It would have been super cool to see him paired up with DK. He never really had that DK by him at his time in Pitt.
Chemistry with Russell Wilson on the moon ball. Can he pick it down the sidelines? Now imagine him on a real offense with a good quarterback in his prime. Too bad there was a reason why he fell to the 2nd round. The character.
Yes.
Fighting everyone in sight. The massive inconsistency. You knew this was coming the moment they traded for DK. Metcalf was never meant to be a compliment to Pickens. The skill sets are entirely similar.
I agree with that take. A lot of people are saying, oh, why even get DK at this point? The point was, it's because we were moving on from George, guys. We gotta kind of use our brain. They're talking about, oh, now we're in the same position as last year. Newsflash, guys. George Pickens staying here, that doesn't really move the needle all that much. We don't have a fucking quarterback. Like, what are we talking about here? The inconsistencies from the fan base, it's mind-boggling to me. One day it's like, oh, we're not competing, what's the point? And then the other day it's like, oh, why would we do this? Now we're not competing. We were never fucking competing. I don't get it, dude. I don't.
Home run threats with unbelievable talent and questionable route running. DK was brought in to replace him.
Yes.
They weren't paying George Pickens $20 to $30 million a year.
No.
Not with this propensity to take plays off and crash out nearly every single game. Oh, the crash outs. There's a reason why the Steelers had to pay the cancer tax to get rid of him. He's not productive enough to justify him losing his damn head every week. That game against Cincinnati in Week 18 bought his ticket out of here. No catches after you bitch up a storm to the media?
Exactly, bro. The drops I've seen from this guy, abysmal. Abysmal.
That final drive was atrocious. Completely fucking up his route on what could have been the go-ahead touchdown. That was the moment I was ready for him to leave. You talk about not getting the ball and you do that? Get the hell out. Have fun with him, Dallas. You'll love and hate him at the same time.
Yeah.
If you can get his temper in control, he'll be good for you. If not, he'll become your Chase Claypool. Ask Bears fans how that went. Nothing like getting rid of a guy known for crash outs by paying the big bucks to a guy known for crash outs. Although I have one question. If you were gonna trade Pickens anyway, why the hell didn't you draft another receiver? The Steelers went from having a gigantic hole at wide receiver 2 to having...
I understand this point for sure. And I definitely, in the 7th round, I wanted a wide receiver with one of the guys that fell. But this makes me think, what if Igbuka never got drafted in 19? Igbuka getting drafted at 19 was definitely a shock to many, especially considering it was the Bucks. I don't think many people expected the Bucks to draft a wide receiver 1st round. If Igbuka's there at 21, was that the pick? That is something I'm super curious about.
Having a gigantic hole at wide receiver 2. So who's gonna be our Van Jefferson this year? Robert fucking Woods? Alan Lazard to appease Aaron Rodgers? Speaking of which, why the hell is he still taking his time? Just make a fucking decision, you cancer. It's not hard.
Yeah, bro. I agree with that, dude. I agree with that. At this point, it's either Pittsburgh or retirement for Rodgers. I hope we can get a decision this month. I don't know how likely that is, but yeah, this was a pretty good video.
Steelers guys Super Bowl.
Pretty good video here by Urinating Tree. This was my first ever video I watched by bro. What did y'all think of my takes in this video? Let me know!